Okay, hopefully this lighting does not actually suck. Okay, hi guys. So today I'll be filming a Q&A slash mukbang situation. I am in Korea right now, and I'm out of breath because I just literally got back from 7-Eleven because I was sleeping all day because I had a red-eye flight, so I was sleeping all day. So I have not eaten anything technically in like 24 hours. So I'm going to be answering questions and doing like a mukbang situation with you guys. So if you're interested in watching that, then keep on watching. So I just got back from 7-Eleven. Thumbnail. So, what did I get? I got some Kit Kats because I can't get enough of the green tea Kit Kats. I literally just moved to Tokyo, so I was in Tokyo before here in Seoul. That's actually why I came to Seoul, because I was bored. I was like, okay, I'm sick of being in one place for like such a long time. I need to take a quick little trip, so I decided to come to... This is a gift for somebody, so I'm not going to be eating those. Chopsticks. I got a nigiri. I got some pickled radish. And I got some kimchi. Yeah, so this is going to be my dinner, I guess. So yeah, so I just asked you guys on my Instagram. I need to plug my phone up. I just asked you guys on my Instagram. There's a sink right here because I'm like in my vanity area of my hotel room. So yeah. Oh, I'm trying to get situated here. I just asked you guys to ask me some questions on my Instagram. So once I get my phone plugged in, I can answer those questions. So here we go. I'm gonna open my pickled radish. I love Korean food. There's a ton of water in here. It's getting everywhere. It's a good thing I'm near the sink. I didn't know there was gonna be water in the pickled radish. I need a towel. You guys, I'm all over the place. I'm sorry. Eek. So I'm just gonna take pickled radish, my pickled radish, and I have like a little bowl plate thingy. I'm gonna put it on. Okay. Pickled radish. I need a towel. Oh. I'm sorry. Kimchi. Put it on a plate that I... Eek. This is a special way you open a nigiri. You go down the middle first, and then you take out the sides. 3 waters here. Water's my favorite drink, so yeah. Eek. Okay. I'm gonna take a picture so you guys can see what it looks like, what I'm eating. Like this, basically. Yummy! Situated. So I'm gonna start with my pickled radish. I love pickled radish. Okay, let's see. I'm trying to see a good question to start with. Will you ever go to Antarctica? Of course. If you guys don't know, I plan to visit every single country in the world. I've been to 101 countries so far. And there's 197 countries. How is the current weather like in South Korea? It is cold. It's cold, but not too cold. My favorite weather is like 40 to 50 degrees, and that's what it's like. It's about 40 to 50 degrees. Okay, have you ever used... Okay, no. She's asking hair questions. I'm gonna make this like a travel question video. There's so many questions about Boston. You guys, okay, everybody's asking about a Boston meetup. I know I have a lot of subscribers in Boston. I'm definitely going to do a Boston meetup. I'm not exactly sure when, but I'm definitely going to do one because for some reason I have a lot of followers, a lot of subscribers in Boston. So I'm definitely going to do that for you guys. Okay. Will you ever come? I'm getting to will you ever come to this? Will you ever come to this? Insert country. I will eventually go to every single country, so if you're ever wondering if I'm going to go somewhere, just think the answer is yes, because I plan to go to every single country. Okay, so what were your top 5 European countries / cities? That's a good question. Okay, so I'll say my top 5 favorite countries in Europe, because I've been to every single country in Europe, would be Iceland for sure, Portugal, Iceland.
No.
Okay, good.
You can walk to this black area.
Right.
That's the glacier covered with ash.
Oh, can we go in?
And we go all the way
no.
to the outlet glacier.
Okay. Wow. Oh. Wow. Portugal. About to make me an acai bowl. I'm so excited. Jesse, those are the pomegranates they have in China I told you about. I said they're not dark like in America, they're pink. So my acai bowl, she put banana in it, but like I'm gonna try and get past that. But anyways, oh my goodness, there's so much delicious food here. Ooh, Chinese. Coming up. Turkey. I would say Turkey, but I don't think Turkey is considered Europe. But some people consider it Europe, so I won't count it. But if it were Europe, then I would say Turkey. Iceland, Portugal. This is hard. Let me think. Yeah, Italy was okay. Iceland, Portugal, Italy. Norway. And I've been to them all, so it's so hard to say what your favorite top 5 are. There's like over 50. And Greece. Greece, how could I be forgetting about Greece? Greece. There we go. That's 5. Okay. Okay. How did you see your future when you were 15? Like this. I always knew I would be independent. I always knew independent. I do want to get married. I do want to have a boyfriend one day. I do want to have a husband one day. I do want to have kids one day, but I always knew I had this sense of independence that I'm living right now, and being independent, traveler, shit like that. So another thing I'm seeing a lot in these questions are, how did you travel to 100 countries, MJ? How have you been to 101 questions? Have you been to 101 countries? How did you do the trip? How do you travel so much? And I think a lot of people thought once the challenge was over that I would go back to the US and be like, okay, that's it. And I'm still traveling, and a lot of people are confused. So I'm gonna explain to you guys. I'm probably gonna title this video, how did I become a millionaire? Because I'm getting a lot of questions like, are you a millionaire? Because how did you travel 100 countries? Not even super rich people can do that. And so I'm probably gonna title it warning, not warning because you would have seen it, how I became a millionaire, because like there's a lot of questions about if I am a millionaire on the internet, and a lot of like people who actually think I am and everything like that. So I'm gonna be talking about that right now, I guess, because yeah, a lot of people are just saying like, how the heck do you live like this? How is your lifestyle just traveling country to country? When you're bored, you get up and you go to another country and you travel like this, and you stay in, you know, nice places. And how are you living like this as a single traveler, a lone traveler? How are you doing it? So I guess the rest of the video, I'm going to kind of talk about that. Somebody just asked me just now, are you excited to go to North Korea? I am ridiculously excited. Ridiculously excited. I can't wait. So yeah, I just wanted to update. Can you go to some cute cafes while you're in South Korea? Of course. Okay, so yeah, tons of questions about money. So I'm gonna go from the beginning, okay, and explain this thoroughly, because this is such a frequently asked question and I just feel like I answer all the time. So a lot of you already know the answer that I'm gonna give, but like I just wanted to give a more in-depth. Okay, so I'm gonna bite my nigiri first because she's getting soggy. Man, so good. Do you wanna know one of my pet peeves? When somebody's eating and they still have food in their mouth and then they drink water, like they're still chewing, and they'll drink water, or they'll drink anything while they're still, it makes me want to throw up. I don't know why I can't watch people do that. Like I'll literally throw up. If you don't know, I'm 23. I just turned 23, December 25th. I'm a Christmas baby. And what happened was I was in college like everybody else at my age. Well, a lot of people. When I was in my sophomore year and I was not in a good place. I felt stupid, and I was looking at all of my heroes, the people I want to be like in life. So if you don't know, I want to be a film composer. A film composer is somebody who writes soundtracks for movies. If you don't know, I'm a musician. I keep saying if you don't know. I'm a musician. I play lots of instruments, and that's what I was going to college for. Being a film composer, I was going to school in Boston, one of the music capitals of the world. And everything was going well, but I just felt like I was in this cycle of doing everything everybody else was doing. And I just felt like this is just not the answer always. And if you don't, I'm gonna stop saying that. My idols, career-wise, are Hans Zimmer, James Newton Howard, Aaron Zigman. These are film composers. What is a film composer? They're people who write soundtracks for movies. So John Williams, think of your favorite movie. There's a soundtrack to it. Somebody had to write that soundtrack. Now, Hans Zimmer is probably my ultimate favorite, and he is somebody I want to be just like as far as his career. He wrote the soundtrack for King Kong, for The Dark Knight. He wrote the soundtrack for Interstellar, which is one of my favorite scores in the world. He wrote the soundtrack for lots of The Lion King. This man is a billionaire. They're all millionaires, billionaires, film composers, because I don't know, it's kind of like being a film director. They just are billionaires, millionaires, and they travel the world making music for movies. So the lifestyle of a film composer is like, they get picked for a movie. So say somebody's coming out with a movie, they're like, Hans Zimmer, we really want you to write this score for this movie. Okay, what's the movie about? It's about a guy who goes to space to save the world. You have creative control as far as what do you want the music to be, and here's your budget, right? So we're gonna give you $5 million to come up with the score, right? So what he does is he goes to his studio and he comes up with what he wants the music to sound like, what he wants it to feel like, bounces it back between the director, you know. He said when he was, okay, I'm trying to think of, when he was scoring Interstellar, he kept hearing these chimes, and he was like, when I was in Paris, I was at this church, and I saw in the church that this organ. So I'm gonna fly to Paris, and I'm going to get this organ for this one part of the song, and then I'm gonna fly to Germany, and I'm gonna use the whatever, and then I'm gonna, like, it's a very much travel-based lifestyle. And why am I saying all this? When I was looking at, like, this is what I want to be a film composer, this is what I'm called to be, I've wanted to be one since I was little. I listened to movie soundtracks all day long, even since I was a little girl. I was a very depressed little kid, very depressed. I had, like, a sad life as a kid. Maybe one day I'll go into it, maybe I won't. The thing that made me, like, block out the world and, like, calm down was I would listen to movie soundtracks and just, like, my favorite movie soundtracks and try to just, like, block everything out. I am going to be a film composer one day, no doubt about it. So when I would look at all my heroes' lives, none of them did the, like, American standard way of becoming successful. None of them aced high school. They all failed along with me. I almost didn't graduate, honestly, because I don't remember doing one piece of homework my whole high school years. I don't remember doing homework once. They all were the same as me. They didn't do their work in high school, yet they were smart. They just weren't feeling it. And then they went to college. They all dropped out because they weren't feeling it. And then they all, like, came upon their calling through life experience. So they all traveled the world. I remember Hans Zimmer, his parents were like, you're going to be a musician because it's the family tradition. And he quit piano, which I also did once. He quit piano even though he's an amazing pianist. He quit music altogether and was like, I just want to be traveling the world. So he traveled the world by himself, and, like, he ran into the Beatles one day because to make money, he, like, got a gig at, like, a bar, and then one day the Beatles walked into the bar, and then he started writing music for the Beatles because they were like, you're good. And then, like, all this happens. James Newton Howard, he scored, like, The Sixth Sense, and, like, he's also a billionaire, millionaire film composer. He had a similar life. He went to Berkeley. His parents put him through Berkeley, and then he dropped out, and his parents, like, disowned him for dropping out of Berkeley. Like, you wasted all this time. You wasted all this money. You're an idiot. He dropped out of Berkeley. He started traveling the world because he was like, I don't know what I want to do, and I want to just, like, see what's out there. And it wasn't until, like, all these different events in life happened that they arrived. And part of why they're so good at making music and coming up with music is because they've experienced life and they draw inspiration from places. So I'm like, how is me just going to school in Boston, like thousands of other people, gonna set me apart and help me succeed and be like amazing? Kimchi is a little spicy. So I was just not feeling it, and I also had some other things going on, and I just want to take a break. So what I did was, I was like, my sister was already living in China. She was a model in China. So my mom was like, why don't you visit your sister in China so you can get a break from school, you can get a break from everything, and just, you know, visit China. It'll be fun. And then I was like, yeah, let me do that, right? Call my sister. She was fine with it. She's like, yeah, come to China. Thing was, I had no money. So I'm like, how am I going to afford this? My mom was like, work the whole summer and save every single penny you get. So that's exactly what I did. People always ask me, how do you get money for this? How do you get money for that? I'm like, to me, it's a stupid question, but I'm like, maybe it's not. Like, I'm not trying to be rude and say people are stupid, but I'm just like, how does anybody get money for anything? You work hard. Like, that's obvious. You work hard and you get money. So the more you work, the more money you make. So I literally got 3 jobs and I quit the first 2, but the third one I got a promotion in. So I was making, with that one job that I got a promotion in, I was making the price that from all 3 before. And I worked at a donut factory. It was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. I've talked about this many times. I had to carry, I was like one of the only females working there. We had to make donuts in like on conveyor belts, and then I got promoted to quality control, so I didn't have to lift or carry anything anymore, because we used to have to like lug these huge crates of huge crates of donuts onto trucks, and like it was just a very laboring job. But then I got promoted to quality control, so I didn't have to lug things anymore. And so basically I got fired from that job, but I didn't care because honestly I was about to quit because I was about to go to China. And I went to China with all the money I had saved from working that summer. I literally did not freaking sleep the entire summer. Honestly, like I'd come home, sleep for 45 hours and go back to work. I used to work 24, sometimes 26-hour shifts, you guys. It was crazy. And it's like that job, you couldn't go home until everything was done. So say the company we were making donuts for, let's say they said we need 50,000 donuts. You can't leave until there's 50,000 good donuts. Like, and a lot of the donuts got rejected and thrown in the trash because if they were too big, like if it was too hot in the factory, the donuts would swell up and become like huge. And there was a limit on the size of the donuts. And then like sometimes the donuts would be too dry. Sometimes the donuts wouldn't have enough sprinkles. So literally that job was so freaking hard. And I was the only young girl working there. Everybody else was like an older man. Everybody else, they're older men who are good at lifting and carrying and stuff. So I didn't care. I worked hard. Females didn't work there because it was hard, and it's hard for a female body. So I used to take so much pain medication. I stopped taking medicine. I don't take medicine anymore. But there were the days where I used to take medicine, and like I used to pop Tylenol all day long, and I used to drink 5-hour energies, and I used to drink Red Bulls all day. It was a mess. But it was because I had a goal, and I wasn't taking no for an answer. I had a dream. I had things to do. So I saved every single penny. And so I basically went to China with that money, and me and my sister lived in China with that money. And the type of visa I was on, I had to leave China every 30 days. But I could come right back, but I had to leave every 30 days. So I was like, since Shanghai is close to like other countries and there's cheap flights, I'll like turn my 30-day like leavings into trips. So I'm like, Thailand is like kind of close and the flight was really cheap, so let me go to Thailand. And Japan, like that's when I fell in love with Japan the first time I went, is really close and really cheap, so let me go to Japan. let me fly to South Korea because South Korea is really close and really cheap flight. So I'd turn them into little trips. I'd visit South Korea, I'd visit Japan, all by myself every time. I'd visit Hong Kong, anywhere to get out of the country. And then I'd turn around and come back to Shanghai every 30 days. I had no idea I loved traveling until that. That's how I discovered my love of travel, right? That's how I discovered my love of travel. After that, I was like, I don't want to go back to the US. I used to visit home, you know, just to go back and visit family, and I would hate it. I'm like, the only nice part about it was, you know, visiting my family, seeing my family. Everything else I didn't like. I'm like, I don't like being in the US anymore. I don't feel at home here anymore, even though I'm from here. I feel like I'm supposed to be out there. I feel like I'm supposed to be a traveler. I feel like I'm supposed to be, I feel so at home as like a world traveler. I don't want to return to the US. So what I did was, I was like, well, I'm kind of like picking up views on YouTube as a traveler. So I'm like, why don't I just book some more trips, even though I was supposed to return back to school at that time? And let me just keep traveling, because say like YouTube takes off and I can use it as a job, then I'll be able to pay for school myself. So I was like, let me do some trips. So I was traveling a lot, and I started to like knock off a lot of countries. And I'm like, you know what? I was on the Instagram one day and I saw an article about a girl who wanted to visit 30 countries before she was 30. And I'm like, I bet I can do that. So I made an announcement in March of 2018 because I got inspired. I was like, I'm going to do 30 countries in 1 year. So everybody's like, I don't think you can do that. I can't believe people said that. I got so many messages from adults saying, I haven't been to 30 countries in my whole life. You need to take your goal down. I know you're ambitious, but maybe say 30 countries and before you're 30 so you don't get yourself all up in, you know. Oh my gosh, I got so many messages. So many people told me, you know, most people in their life haven't been to 30 countries, so you need to take your goal down. Like, you're not a millionaire, you're not rich, you can't do it. It's so funny. I remember those messages. So I'm just like, okay. So I started to knock out all the Asian countries. I was like, I had been to Laos, Vietnam, Thailand, Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, China, obviously South Korea, Japan. And I'm like, this is starting to make sense to me. Like, I feel like I could take on continents at a time and then make this super simple. And I'm like, I'm gonna up my goal to 50 countries in 1 year. And I'm like, you know you for all the naysayers who say I can't do 30 countries in 1 year, how about 50? I'm gonna do 50 countries in 1 year. I'm extremely competitive. I'm an extremely competitive person by nature. So I was like, you know what? I was only competing with myself though, because it was my goal. And I'm like, you know what? I can do 100. So let's just see how long it takes me to get to 100 countries. I just finished January 3rd. No, not January 3rd. January 3rd? What did I finish? The last week of January I finished. I can't remember, the 29th. So, yeah, how did I do it? Honestly, it was a lot of phone calls, like ring, ring. Hi, mom. So yeah, I'm in Italy and I need like $500 until next week. There was a lot of phone calls like that. Or my grandmother's name is Anka. Anka, can I borrow, like, you know? And I always offer to pay back. Always. Me, mom, my other grandmother. Yeah, so what happened was, yeah. But also, it was a lot of me doing YouTube, and YouTube, you can be anywhere in the world and do it, and it pays you, and you can be anywhere in the world. A lot of sponsorships. The more I started to grow, the more I got sponsored buy, you know, different things. Hotels would give me free stays in exchange for a video, or I'd do, you know, a product review, and, you know, stuff like that kept me afloat. But I also worked very hard to get to that point. It wasn't like that in the beginning. It wasn't like that at all. When I was in Shanghai, I was also working as well. So now I am in the perfect position to be a traveler. So I get a lot of questions. How can you travel like this, and how can I do it? And I don't have an answer for you. Honestly, I wish I did, but I don't have an answer for you. My answer is too complicated. I literally have this was like, it's like seeing an iceberg, you know? There's 90% of the iceberg is underwater, you know what I'm saying? You only see the 10% at the top. So people are only seeing, well, some people are only seeing, oh, Maryjane travels country to country, staying in super nice hotels, living super luxurious life. They see that I'm gonna be in Bali next month, and then I'm gonna be in Hawaii, and then I'm gonna be in Paris, and then I'm gonna be here and here, and then they see me shopping, and they see me buying lots of clothes, and they see me, but they don't really see underneath the iceberg, you know what I'm saying? Like, there was so much blood, sweat, and tears that went into this. And it's not only that, like, oh, I have all this money. Like, honestly, since I've been on over 100 plane rides, literally over 100, I get cheap flights now. You know what I'm saying? So my flights are super cheap because of how much I flew, you know? And my hotels are super cheap because of how much I stay in hotels. My hotels are cheap, or they're free, you know? So it's like everything is set up because of all of my hard work for this to be like a tangible lifestyle for me now. But there was so much hard work that had to go into it. So it's like when somebody asks me, how do you live like this? How do you make money? And how can I do it? It's like, I really don't know what to tell you, because it's just like, there was years of me building this foundation that I'm now standing on. You know what I'm saying? So like, at first it was hard work, and I still work hard. It's not over. I haven't even arrived at where I want to be, what I want to be doing. I will return to school. I don't know if it's going to be this year or next year. I will continue to travel. I'm so excited. I'm going to Bali with my friend Jasmine Lipska. You might know her. She's a YouTuber. I love her. I'm saying her last name, Lipska, right? I love her. We're going to be doing Bali together. I'm so excited. In April. I'm going to be going to Paris soon. I'll be back in the US soon. And I'm going to be doing lots of traveling. Lots is going on here. But I'm not a millionaire. I literally just worked hard, and now I'm not gonna lie, I make good money through YouTube, through Instagram, through sponsorships, through stuff like that, to be able to take care of myself. Again, you have to remember, I'm 23, I travel by myself, and I only take care of myself. So I make enough money to do that and live comfortably, travel comfortably, and you have to think, I get a lot of stuff for free or very discounted because of my position. So that's how I became a millionaire to people. One day I do plan on being a real millionaire though, for sure. But it's not my goal. My goal isn't to become a millionaire. It's just going to be a product of my success. Okay, let's see what other questions we have here. I'm only saying because PA just received a couple of inches. I don't miss the snow because I see snow all the time. I saw snow when I was in Iceland, Finland, Estonia, Lithuania. Oh, there was a snowstorm when I was in Lithuania. I loved it. Does your family worry about you traveling? Are they more like you, fearless? They weren't in the beginning. No, they weren't fearless like me in the beginning, but now they see like this is kind of who I'm made to be, who I am, and they see me succeeding in it. So now they're nothing but happy for me, and they don't worry as much. But in the beginning, and my sister as well, because my sister is very similar to me. I'm very similar to my sister, actually. Okay. Do you know how to drive? I do. Do you have your license? I do. What do you think about church, or do you think that Christians can live without it? I love church. I think it's like practice. It's like if you're a basketball player and you don't go to basketball practice, can you still be a good basketball player? Of course you can, but practice is being with other people who are like you and strengthening your skills and keeping you strong and keeping you motivated. And I do think it's important. I do think church is important, but don't assume that I don't go to church. I do. So yeah, there's churches all over the world, if you didn't know. So is your suitcase a 24 or 28? I have no idea. I feel like it's a 24. I have these bags that like you can push the air out of them, and they're like vacuum bags, and they allow me to keep a lot of my stuff. This video is very long. When are you coming to Paris? Very, very, very soon. This video is getting very long, so I'm going to do another Q&A soon sometime. I'll see you guys in my next video, and I love you guys, and hopefully this video answered some questions. I know I barely ate, but it's so hard for me to eat and talk. I'm going to finish my food, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!